What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. So, the Secret Service, the head of the Secret Service, just gave us some information on what they know about the shooter that tried to assassinate former President Donald Trump. And Congress is calling on her to be fired. I'm going to let you hear what she just said and the details here right now. Thank you so much for liking these videos. Take a look here. House Republicans demand Secret Service director face accountability in new resolution. Quote, must be fired now. Representative Nick Langworthy is leading the resolution, which has support from House Oversight Republicans. Listen to what the Secret Service director, who is Kimberly Cheetle, had to say.
It's been reported that before former President Trump got up on the stage at around 6 p.m. on Saturday, July 13th, that the local police had identified and even photographed a man who was acting suspiciously. And this man, who turned out to be the gunman, had been flagged as a potential threat. Is that accurate?
What I can say is that the individual was identified as suspicious.
So he was known to be suspicious before former President Trump took the stage.
That is the information I have received.
Why was he allowed to take the stage with a suspicious person having been identified in the crowd?
So I appreciate the question, and I'd like to make 2 points. If the detail had been past information that there was a threat, the detail would never have brought the former president out onto stage. That is what we do, and that is who we are. We are charged with protecting all of our protectees.
So you distinguish between someone who is suspicious and someone who's threatening, is that right?
I do. There are a number of times at protective events where suspicious people are identified, and those individuals have to be investigated and determined what is it that identifies that person as suspicious.
So did you deny a request for additional resources that had been made by the Trump campaign?
There were no assets denied for that event in Butler on the 13th.
I see. So you're saying there were requests made for additional assistance for other specific events rather than for the campaign as a whole. Is that right?
I'm sorry, I'm not understanding.
Well, you seem to say that there were not additional resources requested for that event. And forgive me for being unfamiliar with this. Is it requested event by event, or is it requested just in general for the campaign?
So if I can explain the advance process, when an event or a venue is identified by, in this case, campaign staff, then the campaign staff works together with Secret Service agents who go out and conduct an advance. Generally, that is a 5-day time period where those discussions are had about what the perimeter is going to look like, what the size of the event is, what the venue is, and then from there, there is a request made to mitigate potential risk and threat. And I'm saying that on that day, the requests that were pushed forward were granted.
So the Secret Service did not know that the gunman actually had a weapon before President Trump was allowed to get up on the stage?
To the best of our knowledge and the facts that we have at this point, that is correct.
So can you answer this question, which I think is on the mind of most Americans thinking about this? How can a 20-year-old with his father's AR-15 assault weapon climb onto a roof with a direct 150-yard line of sight to the speaker's podium without the Secret Service or local police stopping him?
So again, sir, I will say we are 9 days out from this event, and I would like to know those answers as well, which is why we are going through these investigations to be able to determine that fully.
Yes, Secret Service director grilled by lawmakers on the Trump assassination attempt says, quote, we failed. Yeah, you think? This comes after the Secret Service boss blamed the, quote, sloped roof for not putting a sniper team on the building that was used by the would-be Trump assassin. But it was perfectly okay for the would-be assassin to use it. But she says it would be potentially dangerous for her own people to use that sloped roof, which any basic roofer would have no problem using. And when you actually look at that roof, it's really not that sloped. I mean, any average everyday roofer would be fine with it. She says, quote, "We must learn what happened, and I will move heaven and earth to ensure an incident like July 13th does not happen again." When she testified under subpoena before the House Oversight and Accountability Committee. She said the assassination attempt on former President Donald Trump on July 13th is the most significant operational failure at the Secret Service in decades, and I am keeping him and his family in my thoughts. She says, quote, "I would like to offer my sincerest condolences to the family of Corey Comparator, a former fire chief and hero who was killed in this senseless shooting." She says, "I would also like to acknowledge those who were injured in Butler, Pennsylvania, David Dutch and James Copenhaver. I wish them a speedy recovery." She says, quote, "As the director of the United States Secret Service, I take full responsibility for any security lapse. As an agency, we're fully cooperating with the FBI's investigation, the oversight you have initiated here, and conducting our own internal mission assurance review at my direction. Likewise, we will cooperate with any pending external review and the DHS office and Inspector General." You know, the problem here is that when we had multiple people from the audience and even like the other policeman that's seen the gunman, nothing was done. And you know, we hear the story about how they phoned in on the radio that he was seen an hour beforehand, spectators seen him, and nothing was done. And this is kind of where the lack of accountability happens, chain of command. You know, when a threat is identified and nothing happens ahead of time, this is where there is a major problem. And they need to have plans for something like this. Is that if something has happened ahead of time and time passes and he's not even really confronted and just time is left to pass by, and during an actual incident nothing happens, that's where there's major oversight and there's a major problem. They need to have, you know, a chain of command or a chain of, you know, what ifs that should be followed. You know, like, hey, you know, law enforcement who are armed need to actually go and confront them, call it in. I mean, if you ever watch Live PD, which everybody I recommend should watch, you know, you watch, you know, law enforcement offices like Fullerton, California, they have policies where they go in with multiple people, they call it in, and within moments, they have multiple different people going in. I mean, worst case scenario, you have to go one on one. When you call it in, backup's coming, they're there moments later. I mean, you very rarely ever even see them one on one because it's literally moments that they have backup coming and they're just seconds away, seconds away. You know, so even if an officer was there one on one, it's not long before somebody's coming because they have radios. They have radios. And I mean, this is what they're paid to do. They're there to protect and to serve. And when you have a president there, I mean, they had people all around the area. I mean, dozens and dozens of Secret Service police officers and law enforcement everywhere. I mean, this was a perimeter that was surrounded, and it really makes you kind of wonder how could something like this have happened? Let me know your thoughts here in the comments. I'll keep you up to date as this unfolds. If you haven't yet, subscribe down below, click the bell icon so you don't miss out on new videos. Share this video with people that need to hear this information. Click here to see, with Biden out of the race, the new candidates could be here in this video. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.